So I want you to picture this scene. You're chilling in Miami next to the beach. This beautiful woman walks past you and you say to her, "Hey baby, can I get your number?" And she says to you, "No, I've got a boyfriend, I'm sorry." She walks off and you get your key out and you click the key and it opens up your Moskvich car. The girl sees the lights flashing and she turns around, she sees this bad boy and she's like, "Whoa," and she comes running back to you and she says, "Oh baby, baby, I'm sorry, I didn't know that you were that kind of guy. I'd love to get your number, let's go out now in your car." And you like show her the car and she sees it's a Moskvich. And then you say to her, "Hey honey, if you want to sit in my car, you can do. What do you think? Do you want to sit in my car?" And she's like, "Oh wow, yeah, can I sit in your car?" And so she comes up to the car and she opens the door and she's like, "Wow, this is incredible. Wow, this is so cool. You've got a Moskvich, you're the king of the town." And then of course, she says, "Oh, you know, can you take me to a restaurant? Let's go out together, baby, let's go out now." And you say to her, "No, you're a gold digger. You only love me for my Moskvich." You hand her the gold digger spade and you drive off into the sunset. Cool, right? You could be the king of the town if you drive a Moskvich. So here we are, outside of the Moskvich Auto Salon. It's a very busy road. So it seems they're sharing the showroom with this Chinese company. And here is the Moskvich. You can ask for a test drive. Let's see if I can get a test drive. What do you think? Does this look like a Russian car? Does this look like what you expect a Russian car to look like? I wonder if Moskvich will ever take off, whether it will ever be an international brand again. If it ever was an international brand. It was a brand throughout the Soviet Union and the communist countries. Let's go inside and see if they'll allow me to film or not. Should be an interesting one. Let's go and find out. So here we are, look, this is the crossover, the Moskvich 3. Never what I thought a Moskvich would be like. So Moskvich, the actual company Moskvich, it closed a long time ago and reopened not long ago. So this model here is kind of like the standard complication, right? A complication, what's the word? Standard inside. It's not the Lux version. So you can see it hasn't got full leather seats or anything, but a nice big monitor there. It's interesting because it is actually quite a nice car, isn't it? It is a nice car, and obviously the price. What you're getting for the price, I mean, it's you're getting a hell of a lot of car for the price, right? So we look at the price, look, it's 1,690,000. That's pretty good really, to be fair, isn't it? These lights are actually nicer than my lights on my Porsche. So this is actually the automatic version. Let's have a look at what the manual version is like. It's exactly the same here. So the actual top of the range version, they actually just sold now. Typical, right? Just sold before I got here. And it looks exactly the same. That's weird. Apparently most of the clients are the kind of clients that would have bought things like Renault and that kind of car in the past. It's kind of like a budget car, but at the same time it's very, very stylish, isn't it? Extremely stylish. Wow, look at this monitor in here. That's mad. It's so cool. It's really, really modern, and it's a Russian car. Would you fancy a car like this? Would you like to drive a Moskvich? Would this be popular in your town? It's actually quite interesting because if you had a Moskvich in America or in the UK, right, you'd be like, everyone would be like, "What car is that?" You'd be like, "It's a Moskvich," and you know, it'd be completely exclusive, right? It'd be really, really cool. you'd be like the only one in the town with the Moskvich, and everyone would want to know how you got it, and you know, it'd be really exotic. So this one right here, this is the kind of like top of the range version. You can see the leather inside. It's absolutely incredible, really, isn't it? I never thought that a Moskvich would look like this. So I asked them, why is it called a Moskvich 3 or Moskvich 6? And then what's the deal there? Have you got like 6 models altogether? Apparently they've only got 2 models, the number 3 and the number 6. But they couldn't call the models other numbers because of a problem with the marketing. So it's a 6 and 3. And apparently the Moskvich 8 is coming out later this year. Now an interesting point is the people that work here, they don't own cars. They drive the Moskvich cars to and from work, and they give test drives. And the reason they drive the Moskvich cars is because basically they're then able to talk about the cars they drive. They're able to speak to the customers. So Moskvich provides company cars to all the employees. They drive around with advertising, obviously, you know, order a test drive, but at the same time they're then able to speak to the customers and tell them, look, I've been driving this car for, you know, a year, and this is what I can tell you about the car. And so the guy that I was speaking to, who's, you know, his job is to sell the car obviously to me, he was telling me that the car's actually really nice. Now he's not going to pretend that it's a Porsche or a BMW, but it is a good car. And the reason that so many people like the car is because most of the parts are made in Russia. So 70% of the parts are actually made in Russia. So if something breaks down, very, very easy to get hold of the new parts. Whereas obviously with foreign cars, very difficult. Now, 30% of the parts obviously outside of Russia, but they say and they boast that if anything breaks down with the minimum of a week, they can get the parts, which is pretty good. Let's have a look at the engine. Wow. So I'm going to pretend I know something about engines, but I don't.
Вот это вот не смотрите, это мы уже как бы сделали, потому что позарядка.
Ладно,
Так, пожалуйста.
ладно, спасибо. So look, there's me pretending like the guy was like, don't look at this and that, and I was like, look, I've got no idea about engines at all anyway. So this engine is from the Lancia basically. I think they said the Lancia Delta. So that's who makes the engines for these cars. Now you may think when I said, you know, the maximum of a week to get the part, well, it's a long time, right? Because you're used to, you know, your car dealership having the parts pretty much instantly. But what you have to remember is all of the foreign car companies have actually left Russia. They've left. And so if you want to buy a brand new car right now, you're talking a Russian car or a Chinese car. Pretty much that's it. And for most of the Chinese car companies, you're talking, you could be waiting a month for the part. So people really admire the fact that they're driving a Russian car. We've got so many patriots in Russia, right? And they're like, wow, I'm going to spend my money and I'm going to give my money to a Russian company. I'm going to be proud that I'm driving a Russian car. So again, it's not the top of the range car, but it's a Russian car. And so people are like, yeah, you know, it's a modern, cool looking Russian car, and I don't have to wait for the parts if it needs to be serviced. So what else is there? So this one is the business line, so it's like a slightly nicer, it's not top of the range, but it almost is, and it's 2,400,000. So, and then this one, the comfort version, slightly below the business, is 2,351,000. Right, so that was just a little kind of little show of the Moskvich cars, the 2 models. Let me know in the comments what you think. Would you like to drive a Moskvich? Where you are in the world, you like to take that Moskvich and be the king of the town? Let me know.